And we've got breaking development coming in. First ships are seen passing through the Strait of Hormuz since the announcement of 2-week ceasefire. This data is emerging from Marine Traffic Monitor. Remember, the conditions of ceasefire include from the United States side that the Strait of Hormuz that Iran is currently controlling and is only allowing selective passage through should be open. But Iran has insisted that they are going to impose toll charges to allow ships and vessels to go through this strategic marine choke point. The latest development that we are learning of is that shipping has resumed. Vessels are seen moving again. This was one of the most crucial conditions for this ceasefire. The 2-week ceasefire has now come into place to go forward. Ceasefire that gives time to both sides to think over how are the positions going to be going forward from here. Iran has said that this particular passage, which was free for all earlier, now is, however, going to be controlled and paid as well. So just to recap, we tell you why Hormuz is a revenge gold mine. This perhaps has proven to be a bigger leverage for Iran, even some would say even bigger than potential nuclear weapons, because this weapon has helped Iran target the entire world almost and to get to the ceasefire table. Now, ships that cross this particular passage daily, 138 on an average. This number obviously had come down because of the war and the conflict. Now Iran says that because it needs money for reconstruction, because of the damage that has been inflicted on its infrastructure because of this war, they want to tax the passage. The money that has been decided is $2 million, which basically means that revenue per day for Iran is going to be $138 million. Why is that? Because 138 ships into 2 million per ship is 276 million. But this particular passage is shared between Iran and Oman, which takes the total revenue generation up to 276 million. If you do the half of that, it translates into 138 million for Iran. However, Oman now says that they are not okay with this arrangement. Revenue per month for Iran and Oman that this is likely to generate if it falls into place is $8.28 billion. What this eventually is going to translate into, the war risk insurance per ship is going to skyrocket. As of now, it is 5% of hull value, but these charges, these extra charges are going to impact that. If the hull value, for example, is $100 million, then war risk insurance is $5 million per trip. Cost of crossing Hormuz now becomes $7 million, which means daily cost for ships is going to be, all in all, $966 million if we take 138 ships transit per day as the base data on which all these calculations have been made. Joining me now is my colleague Srinjoy. Srinjoy, do we have any further clarity on what exactly is the contour of this new toll that Iran wants to impose? What are the details that we are learning right now?
Well, first of all, the Iranians want $2 million per ship that crosses the Strait of Hormuz. Now, that would mean, as you rightly said, 138 multiplied by 2, $276 million. Now, they wanted to share that amount equally, perhaps, with the Oman government. But Oman says that, look, we don't want the money. We are not interested in the money. We don't want to get into this. So as a result, this is something that would then go straight to the Iranians. But these are just basically assumptions. This tax has not been imposed as yet, and Iran proposes to do it and proposes to use the money that will come from the tax to rebuild its resources, its infrastructure, all the war damage of these last 40 days. So that's what Iran has in mind, and we shall have to see how this works, because this did not exist earlier. This is a little like the Suez Canal. When you enter the Suez Canal, you have to pay a toll. But the Suez Canal is slightly different in the sense that someone, beginning with de Lesseps, actually built that canal. This is just open water. So how Iran will work this out, we have to see. But Iran definitely wants the money. And America, because President Trump has said that, look, very little of our oil goes through these straits, is not that worried. It's from what we are hearing.
All right, we will wait and see how this transpires. But